Greetings, this is Animatronic-Artistry and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to discuss a topic that's dear to my heart, and that is Mangle's second head. This topic has been a subject of mine since a long time, and I always wanted to make a video like this, but since I never had a microphone, I always use text-to-speech for everything in this channel. Technically, I don't really still have a microphone. I use an old pair of earphones which have a little microphone on them, so I technically do have a microphone, but I also don't have a microphone. So yeah, anyway, so if you're wondering how I sound like, then this is the video that you've probably been waiting for. So let's talk about the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie. I saw it late, like very late, not like, I didn't quite enjoy it as much, but it was fun to watch. It was confusing in some areas, at least for me. Well, but I just wanted some answers from the story, but the movie didn't deliver answers. It just was its own thing. It wasn't even like accurate to the games at all. It was just its own thing. Back to the topic of Mangle's second head. I legitimately thought that Mangle is gonna have a voice. In one of my videos, I said that maybe she will have a voice, but she didn't. I'm pretty sure it's because she has two heads, and that's why she didn't have a voice. And I always thought that Mangle herself is female and her second head is male, so we will have kind of like a female-male duo if she ever had a voice, but she never had a voice. I did thought the movie will explain where Mangle and her second head has come from, but it didn't really do that. It just was like all over the place, and most areas did not make any sense. So I always wondered why the movie didn't talk about Mangle and her second head. I know that they are not like the main focus, but to me, a Fnaf kind of an enthusiast, if you may, I really like Mangle's second head, and I always wanted something to tell me and many others that where it came from, when was it built, where was it built. No one knows for sure. She just appeared in Five Nights at Freddy's 2 and nobody talks about her anymore. Not even Scott, the developer of the game, tells us where Mangle have come from, because I know for sure that she's not part of the toy animatronic band, even though she looks like one of them. So yeah, I'm 100% sure that Mangle is not part of the toy animatronic band. Like I said earlier, she does look like she's from the band, but she's not. She clearly does not match the color palette of Withered Foxy, who is meant to be the withered version of Foxy, Toy Foxy. And where is Toy Foxy, you may ask? Well, Toy Foxy is pretty much, at least to me, must be the second head that Mangle carries around. And I'm pretty sure that head has a subconscious of itself and not like Mr. Cupcake and Chica, if that makes sense, who are technically one animatronic, but they can separate, if that makes sense. But Mangle and her second head do not separate, they're always stuck together. Mangle's second head must be Toy Foxy. Toy Foxy, now in the time period that the game Five Nights at Freddy's 2 takes place, he does not exist at that time. So, Funtime Foxy, who I imagined it must be a guest star, like I said in one of my videos, could have been a replacement for Toy Foxy at the time. And Toy Foxy was disabled, destroyed, something happened to him, and he was replaced by Funtime Foxy. Funtime Foxy, who could have been a guest star, like I said earlier, she replaced Toy Foxy in the band. But later on, before the gameplay of Final Fantasy 2 starts, she was destroyed by the children, apparently, according to the phone guy. In the movie, they never explained what happened to Funtime Foxy. She was in her original condition in the, well, I guess, the starting credits of the movie. She did not have her second head. That's what fascinates me about this character, because we don't know where he came from. We don't know where he came from at all. He just appeared, and he continues to be part of Funtime Foxy, even though we know, or at least I know, he must be the original Toy Foxy, like I said earlier. Funtime Foxy will always fascinate me, and I believe she could be based on William Afton's Funtime Foxy, but I do not know if she came first or after him, because I don't know if the Funtime Foxy from Sister Location, I don't know if he existed before Funtime Foxy, the toy one from Final Fantasy 2, came to be, if that makes sense. I'm pretty sure that Scott knows who Mangle's second head might be, because he knows that Mangle's second head must be a character of its own and not part of Funtime Foxy, like a parrot or a puppet. He must be a character separate from Funtime Foxy. Because if Mangle and her second head were originally together, she would have had a parrot or something in Final Fantasy's world, which is the game we first see her in her complete form. And in the movie, she's also seen without a puppet or a parrot, just like in Final Fantasy's world, which means her second head is, in fact, a separate character that we don't know where it came from. My theory is that Mangle's second head must be Roxy, or at least a toy animatronic version of Roxy, which contradicts the fact that maybe Mangle's second head is male, but it could also be female as well, because we don't know how it sounds like, so we don't know if it's male or female. We know that Mangle herself is female, but we do not know if her second head is female or not. That's why I say it could be Roxy, because Roxy has been around since a long time, since the 1970s, if that makes sense. The same thing goes for Carney. Carney also has yellow eyes, just like Roxy, and their eyes match that of Mangle and her second head, and also Foxy, which makes me believe that one of them must be Mangle's second head. We do not know which one, but Carney or Roxy must be the one. We do not know if it's a coincidence that Carney has yellow eyes, but I believe that Carney could be Mangle's second head's identity, because Carney, even though he's a rock star animatronic, he came before the main rock star cast for Five Nights at Freddy's 6 existed, if that makes sense. Mangle's second head could also be Bubs the dog from Secrets of the Mimic, because her eyes, even though they're orange, which I guess couldn't match that of Mangle's second head, but it is something because Bubs is a character that we don't know anything about. So my theory is that maybe she could be Mangle's second head as well, but we do not know if that's the case or not. And going back to the movie, during that famous poster with the giant 2 and Five Nights at Freddy's on top of the 2, in the center of the 2, there was Mangle's second head in the center. If Mangle's second head was not important, why is it shown in the poster? That's what I believe, that it could have been there for a reason, or if in the original story, maybe Mangle's second head was going to have a bigger role, but it was maybe cut because for some reason, maybe it was cut and was replaced with something else, if that makes sense. That's why I believe that Mangle's second head must be important, because if it wasn't, then I guess it would just be a random endoskeleton head that happens to be attached to Mangle. But if it was a random head, why doesn't it have the default blue eyes that Endo 02 and Endo 01 have if it was just a random head? But no, it has yellow eyes, which means it's something important. But at the end of the day, Mangle is a character that is from the past, and we have no idea where she came from. The story have moved on by now. The original story, even though people think that the modern story is connected to the story from the past, is not connected. The Mimic is a modern day villain. The Mimic is pretty much just Ennard, if that makes sense. It's just Ennard. It does pretty much the same thing Ennard does, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm getting off track, but that's just what the Mimic is, you know? It's just Ennard. Or Ennard in a new form, if that makes even more sense. Hopefully people start to appreciate this character more, because I know that Mangle's second head is important. I know that. Hopefully people appreciate this character more, because what is Mangle without her second head? That's the big question. What is her without her second head? She's just a nobody. Not quite a nobody. Mangle will always be something special, but without her second head, she's just, well, just that, you know? If you like this random rant, then comment, subscribe. I will see you next time. Goodbye.